Alrighty, welcome to MTG Anonymous. So today we're going to do another quick deck tech video. This one's called How Many Cats? And the last game I won I had 20 cats on the battlefield, but regardless, this deck is pretty interesting to play. It's white, blue, green. Let's just go ahead and get into it, shall we? So first, the most important card in this deck is the Charmed Stray. The Charmed Stray is for a white 1/1 cat with lifelink. It says when Charmed Stray enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 on each other creature you control named Charmed Stray. So basically what we want to do is we want to play Charmed Stray, and then all of the random copy effects we have in the deck, and then that'll allow us to have even more cats. It's really good. It keeps opponents from killing us, and whenever they try to use something like passivism on one of the cats, we can always use another cat to swing at them. Next we have Leonin Vanguard for a 1 white, It's a 1/1 cat soldier, and at the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures, Leonin Vanguard gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and you gain 1 life, and that's really good. Because we gain a life for each one we have. We can make copies of those if we don't have any Charmed Strays, and then we have an army of 2/2s swinging. And what's amazing about that is this is every combat, so we don't even need to swing. We don't even need to swing to get the gain the 1 life, and so then we don't have the issue of the Charmed Stray where to gain the life we have to swing. So because of this, we can use cards like a Johnny's Bridemaid without even having to swing. We can gain a life and get it bigger, and then when we're ready, we can swing with it. Next is Sanctuary Cat for 1 white. It's a 1/2 cat. I just have it in there because it's a cat. There aren't many cats in these colors that you can use effectively, so a 1/2 for 1 is pretty good, especially against mono red decks where they want to swing with the lizards and the 1/1s. Next is Arbor Grazer. The whole point of this one, it's for 1 green, it's a 0/3 with reach. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. So basically, we just wanted to put in an extra land when we get it, and then also because it has reach and it's a 1-drop, we can avoid things like Healer Hawk, the Terramander, stuff like that. So that'll help us block creatures that have the high reach. Next is a Johnny's Welcome. For 1 white, this enchantment says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. This is pretty much a creature deck. So every time a creature enters the battlefield, regardless of which one it is, we gain a life, and then if it happens to be a Johnny's Bridemaid being out, then we get a +1/+1 counter on it. So next we have 2 different copies of a Johnny's Bridemaid. There are 4 of them, but I didn't have any more M19 ones, so I had to throw in this one. But basically, for 1 and a white, whenever you gain a life, put a +1/+1 counter on Johnny's Bridemaid. It's a 2/2 cat soldier. So basically, all these different ways to gain life: the Charmed Stray, Leonin Vanguard, a Johnny's Bridemaid, etc., etc. You can use those to put more +1/+1 counters on the Johnny's Bridemaid, and then you can finish the game. The only thing that this deck doesn't like is Death Touch, because if you swing at if I swing with a Johnny's Bridemaid and you block it with Death Touch, I'm kind of in trouble. Next is Paradise Druid for 1 and a green. Paradise Druid has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and then you can tap, add 1 mana of any color. It's a 2/1. So for this one, it can get any of our 3 colors, and that's why it's in here instead of something like the Llanowar Elves. Yeah, it costs 1 and a green instead of just regular green, but it's important that you realize that the hexproof keeps us from red decks being able to kill it as soon as it comes in. Next we have Resplendent Angel. You remember this one from the last deck, but Resplendent Angel is a 3/3 for 1 white and a white. It's an angel, has flying, and at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And then for 3, a white, and a white, until in turn, Resplendent Angel it gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. So this one is really important. Actually, I don't think there are any. There's only 1 instant in this entire deck. There's no flash. So basically, what we want to do is on our opponent's turn, when they swing, we give it the +2/+2, it gains the lifelink, and then it makes the angel. And on our turn, if we have enough Leonin Vanguards or a Johnny's Welcome, as we're making copies of cards, or of creatures, then we can have the Leonin Vanguard give us the 5 life to make the angels. So basically, we can get a 4/4 on our turn and a 4/4 on their turn, and then that's really good for decks that have flyers. Next is Mirror Image and Quasi Duplicate. So they are both 3 mana. Mirror Image being a 2 for a 2 and a blue, and then Quasi Duplicate being a sorcery for 1 a blue and a blue. Mirror Image becomes a copy of any creature you control as it enters the battlefield. It's a 0/0, and then Quasi Duplicate says create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. So basically what we want to do is we either want to make a copy of the Leonin Vanguard till we get 5, and then Resplendent Angel triggers on its own, or we want to make copies of the Charmed Stray as it gets +1/+1 for each one. Well, whenever one enters, the ones that we're already in get +1/+1. It's really good. The same thing for Spark Double, and I'll go ahead and go over that right now. For 3 and a blue, you get an illusion creature 0/0. You may have Spark Double on the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 on it if it's a creature. It enters with an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker, and if it's legendary, the Spark Double isn't legendary if the permanent was. So once again, you can use Spark Double to make a copy of Charmed Stray, or for this one, we want to make copies of Shalai, more specifically, because then all of our Shalais have hexproof, and that's really important. But you can also make copies of Resplendent Angel and make it a 4/4, make it harder for mono red decks to kill it, basically. That's really all that's in here for. So we have we have 13 ways to copy cards, but let's go on to the next card. Arcane Encyclopedia. It's a 3-drop artifact, and then for 3 draw card. So there isn't any way to draw cards in this deck now, which I should look into a different way. There's a couple artifacts that you can draw cards as you gain life, but we don't have those cards, and since we're free to play, we can't get them until I either A, remember the card, or look it up on Scryfall. But regardless, Arcane Encyclopedia, since we don't have any instant interactions, the only thing we can do on our opponent's turn are give Resplendent Angel the +2/+2 and gain lifelink, or we can have Shalai put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. But more than likely, we'd be drawing the card if they don't have something that we would want to block the Resplendent Angel with, or if we don't have enough land yet, because that is possible. Next, we have Shalai, Voice of Plenty for 3 and a white. You get a 3/4 Angel. It has flying. You, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof, and then for 4, a green, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So basically, with this one, if we have enough mana and we don't have anything to do, like not having Resplendent Angel ready yet, we can just give all our creatures +1/+1. And then since these have lifelink, we can gain even more life, and it makes it way harder for our opponents to kill us. Leonin War Leader for 2 a white and a white. You get a Cat Soldier 4/4. Whenever Leonin War Leader attacks, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink that are tapped and attacking. So, more cats, even better. When this one cat comes out, we get 2 more 1/1 white cats. And then basically, when they swing, regardless if they're blocked or not, as long as they don't die, or well, as long as they deal damage, we gain the life, and then a Johnny's Bridemaid will trigger, or Resplendent Angel will more than likely trigger, because I haven't gotten to a point where Leonin War Leader was out and a Johnny's Welcome wasn't. We've already talked about Spark Double, so let's go to Repudiate or Replicate. So for either Simic, you have an instant where you can counter target activated or triggered ability, or Replicate. For 1, a green, and a blue, you have a sorcery where you create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. So basically, Repudiate, basically what we want to do is we want to avoid either our Shalai dying before we have a chance to Spark Double it, or we want to keep them from destroying a Johnny's Welcome or Resplendent Angel. That's basically all this card's in there for. Additionally, if we have extra time, or if we don't think that they're going to target We can use the replicate to create a copy of target creature we control, which would more than likely either be the Charmed Stray or the Ajani's Pridemate. If we have a copy of Shalai that was made by Spark Double, we can a legendary permanent, so that's actually really good. So next, we have our land count. We have 4 plains, 8 islands, 4 Selesnya Guildgate, 4 Tranquil Expanse, and then 4 Simic Guildgate. So the reason we have so many island is because once we draw these 3 cards, well 4, once you draw these 4 cards, basically what we want is we want to be able to play them as soon as possible for their cost. We don't want the cards to we don't want the mana to enter tap, so that's why we have more islands. And then for the Selesnya Guildgate and the plains, we have 12 ways to make plains, or to make white mana, and since all these cards are white, as long as we get the Guildgate or the Tranquil Expanse, then we'll be able to cast the other 3 cards that need green. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and then comment below. 10 minutes, 11 minutes is pretty good, so I think this is about where I want to keep the size of this video. But I will edit this and it will be up shortly. I'll see you later.